The purpose of this video is to explain how traditional style Thieboudienne is prepared, examine its nutritional qualities, and show how healthier choices can be introduced without removing the dish's cultural character. The video follows 4 main areas: selecting and preparing the ingredients, managing the traditional cooking stages, understanding the meal's nutritional qualities, and preserving the knowledge through family learning, oral history, and community participation. From seasoning the fish and preparing the raw to controlling the vegetables, broth, and rice, each stage requires timing, judgment, and practical knowledge. What is Thieboudienne? Thieboudienne is a Senegalese rice and fish preparation commonly made with broken rice, seasoned fish, tomatoes, onions, herbs, and a varied selection of vegetables. The name comes from the Wolof words ceeb, meaning rice, and yen, meaning fish. Ceebu Jën originated within the fishing communities of St. Louis, in Senegal. In 2021, UNESCO inscribed Ceebu Jën, a culinary art of Senegal, on the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. The inscription recognizes the living culinary knowledge, skills, and social practices surrounding its preparation and consumption. It does not define the heritage as one fixed or standardized recipe. Fish varieties, vegetables, seasoning levels, and preparation methods differ between families, communities, and regions. Diaspora cooks may also adapt the dish according to the ingredients available where they live. Ingredient overview. For approximately 6 people, the main ingredients include firm white fish, broken rice, tomatoes, onions, parsley, garlic, chili, tomato puree, and a suitable cooking oil. The vegetables may include carrots, cabbage, aubergine, cassava, sweet potato, okra, and turnip. Some household and regional versions may also include dried fish, fermented mollusk, tamarind, or hibiscus leaves. Firm fish is important because it must withstand simmering without falling apart. Suitable alternatives available in the United Kingdom may include sea bream, hake, sea bass, cod, or pollock. Broken rice is commonly used because it absorbs the seasoned broth effectively and helps create the familiar texture of the finished meal. Food safety. Keep raw fish refrigerated until it is required. Use separate chopping surfaces and utensils for raw fish where possible, and wash hands thoroughly after handling it. Clean knives, boards, and work surfaces before preparing vegetables or touching cooked ingredients. Cook the fish until it is opaque, flakes easily, and is steaming hot through the center. Cassava also requires careful preparation. It must be peeled thoroughly and cooked completely before it is eaten. Raw or inadequately prepared cassava should not be consumed. Anyone with a fish, shellfish, or mollusk allergy should check dried seafood, fermented flavorings, stock products, and seasoning mixtures carefully. Prepare the fish. Begin by patting the cleaned fish dry. Rub the portions with lemon or lime juice, then season lightly with salt and black pepper. Make 1 or 2 shallow incisions in the thickest part of each portion. These openings will hold the herb mixture and allow the seasoning to penetrate the flesh, rather than remaining only on the surface. Take care not to cut too deeply, as the fish may separate or break apart during cooking. Prepare the raw. The herb mixture used to season the fish is commonly known as raw. Combine fresh parsley, garlic, onion, chili, black pepper, and a small pinch of salt. Crush or blend the ingredients until they form a coarse green paste. The mixture should retain visible texture rather than becoming completely smooth or liquid. Insert a small quantity into each incision and spread any remaining mixture lightly across the fish. Preparing and inserting the raw is one of the distinctive practical skills involved in making Thieboudienne. It allows the fish to develop flavor from within, while retaining the freshness of the herbs. Prepare the vegetables. Wash and peel the vegetables as required. Cut them into large pieces so they can withstand simmering without losing their shape. Keep the cabbage in wedges and cut the carrots, cassava, sweet potato, and aubergine into substantial pieces. The vegetables should remain recognizable when the completed dish is arranged for serving. Remove the cassava's thick outer covering and any tough central fiber. Ensure that it is cooked thoroughly before serving. The size of each vegetable affects its cooking time, so prepare comparable ingredients in broadly similar pieces. Build the tomato base. Measure the cooking oil and heat it in a large, heavy-based pot over a medium heat. Add the onions and cook until softened, stirring regularly to prevent burning. Add the tomato puree and cook it for several minutes. This reduces its raw acidity and helps develop a deeper color and flavor. Add the chopped or blended tomatoes, garlic, black pepper, and bay leaf. Continue cooking until the mixture becomes concentrated and a small amount of oil begins to appear around the edges. This carefully developed tomato base will eventually flavor the fish, vegetables, and rice. Make the broth and cook the fish. Add enough water to create a generous broth and bring it to a controlled simmer. Carefully place the seasoned fish into the liquid. Dried fish or another traditional flavoring ingredient may also be added at this stage when used. Cook the fish gently until it is almost fully cooked. Avoid vigorous boiling because strong movement can cause the portions to break apart. Remove the fish carefully with a slotted spoon and keep it covered while the vegetables and rice are prepared. Taking the fish out at this stage protects its texture and prevents it from becoming overcooked. Cook the vegetables in stages. Add the vegetables according to the time each one requires. Cassava, carrots, and turnips generally need longer cooking. Cabbage, aubergine, sweet potato, and okra may be added later so they do not become excessively soft. The exact order will vary according to the size, variety, and maturity of the ingredients. Remove each vegetable when it is tender but still holds its shape. Keep the cooked vegetables covered and warm with the fish, while leaving the seasoned broth in the pot. This staged approach prevents undercooked roots and vegetables that have disintegrated before serving. Wash the rice. Place the broken rice in a large bowl and wash it several times until the water becomes considerably clearer. Drain the rice thoroughly. Some cooks briefly steam the washed rice before adding it to the broth. This can help the grains cook evenly and remain separate. Where steaming equipment is unavailable, well-drained rice may be added directly to the carefully measured broth. The important point is to avoid introducing unnecessary water into the pot. Check the broth and cook the rice. Taste the broth before adding the rice. It should be well flavored but not excessively salty because the liquid will reduce and the seasoning will become more concentrated. Remove some broth and reserve it in a separate container. This provides greater control over the final rice texture. Add the washed and drained rice to the simmering broth. The liquid should normally sit just above the level of the rice, although the precise amount will depend on the rice variety, pot size, and cooking heat. Distribute the grains evenly. Cover the pot and cook over a low to medium heat. Turn or fold the rice gently, rather than stirring it continuously. Excessive stirring can damage the grains and create a sticky texture. Add small quantities of reserved broth only when needed. Continue cooking until the rice is tender and has absorbed the seasoned liquid. Develop the toasted bottom layer. Some cooks allow a lightly toasted or caramelized layer of rice to develop at the bottom of the pot. This layer is valued for its concentrated flavor and firmer texture. The heat must remain carefully controlled. The aim is gentle browning rather than heavily burnt rice. Experienced cooks may recognize the correct stage through changes in aroma and sound as much as through appearance. Arrange and serve. Spread the cooked rice across a large serving platter. Arrange the fish portions in the center and place the vegetables around them, distributing their colors and shapes across the dish. Serve Thieboudienne hot. In communal settings, diners may gather around the same platter and eat from the section nearest to them. Individual plates may also be used according to family preference, dietary need, or the setting in which the meal is served. The presentation connects the practical structure of the food with traditions of sharing, hospitality, and community participation. Common preparation challenges. Several common problems can affect the final result. Fish may break when it is boiled aggressively, handled repeatedly, or cooked for too long. Use firm fish, maintain a gentle simmer, and remove it before cooking the rice. Vegetables may become excessively soft when they are all added at once. Add harder vegetables first, and remove each one when it reaches the correct texture. Rice may become wet when too much broth remains in the pot. Reserve part of the liquid before adding the grains, and return it only when needed. The concentrated tomato broth may also catch at the bottom as the liquid reduces. A heavy-based pot, controlled heat, and regular checking can reduce this risk. Successful Thieboudienne depends on timing, observation, and judgment, as well as the written ingredient list. Nutritional value. From a nutritional perspective, Thieboudienne combines protein, carbohydrate, vegetables, and dietary fat in one substantial meal. Fish provides high-quality protein and may also contribute nutrients such as vitamin B12, selenium, iodine, and vitamin D, depending on the species. Rice is the principal source of carbohydrate and provides energy. Broken white rice generally contains less fiber than whole grain rice, but replacing it entirely may change the expected texture and cooking method. A practical option is to retain the traditional rice while controlling the serving size and increasing the proportion of vegetables. Carrots, cabbage, aubergine, okra, and other vegetables contribute fiber, vitamins, minerals, and naturally occurring plant compounds. The meal's nutritional quality improves when everyone receives a meaningful selection of vegetables rather than only a small decorative portion. Is Thieboudienne healthy? Thieboudienne can contribute to a balanced diet, but its nutritional quality depends on how it is prepared and served. Its strengths include fish, varied vegetables, tomatoes, herbs, and a broth that develops substantial flavor without requiring repeated deep frying. However, a very large rice portion can dominate the meal. Excess oil can increase its energy content, while salt may accumulate through stock cubes, added salt, dried fish, and fermented ingredients. It is therefore more accurate to consider the preparation method, ingredient balance, and portion size than to label the entire dish simply healthy or unhealthy. Healthier preparation options. Health-conscious adjustments can be introduced without removing the identity of the preparation. Measure the oil rather than pouring it directly from the bottle. Develop flavor with parsley, garlic, onions, tomatoes, black pepper, chili, bay leaf, and lemon before adding more salt. Use stock cubes and powdered seasoning sparingly, particularly when dried or fermented seafood is also included. Increase the vegetable proportion and ensure that each person receives several pieces. Serve a moderate amount of rice alongside fish and vegetables. The fish may be simmered directly in the broth, lightly browned or oven-baked, instead of being heavily fried. Sustainably sourced fish should also be considered where possible, particularly when a traditional species is expensive, difficult to obtain, or under environmental pressure. Lived experience and community learning. For many Senegalese families, Thieboudienne is learned through observation, participation, and repeated practice, rather than from a written recipe. A younger person may begin by washing rice, picking parsley, or peeling vegetables before being trusted to prepare the broth, season the fish, or control the cooking pot. Experienced cooks often judge the preparation through color, aroma, texture, sound, and familiarity with their equipment. In diaspora households, younger generations may also learn through video demonstrations, written guidance, and conversations with relatives in Senegal and elsewhere. These lived experiences are central to the Enfield African Heritage Food Project. Through oral history interviews and community workshops, the project documents how people learned the preparation, how they adapted it following migration, and what it continues to mean within family and community life. This work helps preserve forms of knowledge that an ingredient list alone cannot record. Thieboudienne brings together fish, broken rice, vegetables, herbs, and a carefully developed broth as part of a culturally significant living practice. Successful preparation depends on sequencing, patience, and judgment. The fish must remain intact. The vegetables must be cooked according to their different timings, and the rice must absorb the broth without becoming wet or burnt. Moderate oil and salt, generous vegetables, suitable portions, and responsible fish sourcing can support healthier eating without removing the preparation's cultural identity. Preserving Thieboudienne means sustaining not only its flavors, but also the knowledge, memories, and relationships through which it continues to be practiced and shared.